Okay, welcome to another programming exam solution tutorial. I promised that we'd look at a new class. This is, again, pretty much guaranteed to come up. This is going to be an overview rather than a detailed programming tutorial, just to make sure that you understand the different areas you ought to have developed a skill in. First of all, let's think about the possibilities. Not limited to this, these are just the ones I could think of. New type of warren. Don't think it's going to be this. Lots of faffy little bits all over the code. Very, very hard to examine. Very, very hard for you to evidence. Doesn't say it won't happen, but I'll be surprised. New type of fox. Again, either you're going to be copying and pasting a load of code, or you're going to be inheriting and making lots of changes to existing code that's quite samey. You got a lot of time in this exam, but I don't think they'll get you to waste it in that way. So that kind of leaves a new type of animal, or a completely new class, by the way. Could be, dustbins for the foxes, but that are just provide as a food source. But let's go for a new type of animal. It inherits animal. Maybe it eats a fox. Maybe it's another rabbit-like animal that doesn't inherit rabbit. It just inherits from animal, but it sort of foxes can eat it basically. Or it could be another animal that eats rabbits. So it behaves a little bit like a fox, but doesn't actually inherit from fox. Really simple animal that I don't know, possibly moves about, or possibly is just stationary but has a range of eating rabbits. So it behaves a little bit like fox. They're possible. They're all possible. Right, I really hope you've already got these skills, and it's just about practicing them for this particular code. I hope you can create a new class. I really hope you know how to inherit from a base class. I really hope you know how to create an instantiation method, i.e. a subnew in VB. Absolutely essential that you can refer to base methods. Shall we look at that very quickly? So here we've got animal. That's its instantiation method. If we go to rabbit, for instance, and we just look at this one, first things first, it has a subnew, and in fact because it's inheriting from animal, it's got to have a subnew. And by going mybase.new with, well, I didn't mean to do that, with the parameters that animal required, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, this effectively just executes that code. It also means that this code executes, so the ID is handled, which is really, really nice. And this code, of course, has access to these properties, of course, because they're protected and not private. Any subclass has access to them as well. Then I'd have thought, oops, let me go back to the PowerPoint. You're going to be told, oh, create this method that does X, Y, and Z, add these properties that are a constant or are not a constant, but are initialized with a certain value. Just do exactly as you're told, do nothing else. I'd have thought override an inherited method. I'd have thought it's going to be inspect. Look, exactly the thing. Public overrides sub-inspect. You always, well, you don't always, 9 times out of 10, you refer back to the base method. So that all the code that is in the base method of inspect, where's inspect? I've lost it, there we go. This gets executed with reference to these properties, and then you can put whatever else you like in there as well. Now, so far, you've just created the class and it's not been used. If they're going to get you to create a class, of course they're going to get you to use it. Got to add it to location. I've just created a silly one just to look at, but I'll go in more detail about chickens. But you can see how Fox and Warren are currently used in location, so hopefully you should be able to do that. Almost certainly, and maybe not, within simulation and within its instantiation method, I don't mean that, that's mad. Within one of the methods here, you've got create new Warren, create new Fox. You can see how this places a new Warren or a new Fox actually into the landscape. Just by putting it into location, all you're really doing is creating a template so that it can house a Fox or a Warren. When you do this, it actually creates a new instance with a new ID, etc. And you ought to know where and when these get called, because you'll need to add reference to your new class there. You're also going to need to add it to draw landscape. So you can see that draw landscape whizzes through the entire thing, and if there is a Fox there, it puts an F. If there's a Warren there, it puts a number, and you've got a problem, because there isn't space in the current grid for a third thing. So my suspicion is, my huge suspicion, is that they will say you are not allowed to put your whatever it happens to be where a Fox is. If it's because the Fox eats it, and it only eats if it's on top of it or whatever, then that's one reason. If it's because they're both rabbit eaters and they don't want to live in the same cell, then that could be another reason. But chances are they will not let you have foxes and the other thing in the same place, and therefore your animal will have a single letter identifier. So if it's a hawk, it's an H, etc., etc. You're then going to have to handle whatever behavior you've programmed into your class to advanced time period. Hopefully you're pretty intimately aware with advanced time period. It's where all of the action happens. And you know that it basically does all of the Warren-y type stuff, followed by all of the Foxy type stuff, oops, all the way down to there, and maybe after this you would add your hawk behaviors. And that is the basic gist of what you would have to do. Now, just looking at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's more than 12 marks worth of stuff. So maybe there would be a really simple sort of extra Fox that just, I don't know, I'm at a loss. I'm 100% convinced you will have to create a new class, but I'm also confused about how in the structure of the exam that they've got, how they're going to squeeze that into, unless it's a really sort of, you know, you're literally putting a donkey in there that just sits there and is in the simulation, but foxes and rabbits just don't interact with it at all. I do not know what they're going to do with it, but please make sure that you've practiced and that you are really familiar with I'll just show you this new chicken quickly. You know, this will be like the absolute bare bones of what you could do. I was trying to think, you know, literally couple of donkey properties, and sub new that doesn't really do anything, and inspect that just has an output. That'd be sort of the bare minimum. Make sure you're comfortable with all of that syntax. Right, I will try and do another video later on and show you a little bit more about different things that a chicken could do and what you would have to add to it. But chicken, by the way, is going to have it so the fox eats it. If it's within a 10 radius, there's a certain percentage chance of it eating. But you know, it's very quickly I'm running out of time, so you would be running out of time in the exam. Make sure you've practiced all that easy stuff. Really hope the exam goes well for you, and I look forward to finding out how you've all done.